Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, God of Heroics, and today we are going through an article on comicbooks.com called Dragon Ball Daima. What's the difference between magic and ki? Now, see, I always figured that we kind of just knew the difference between magic and ki in the Dragon Ball universe, but considering that there's a whole article about it, especially with the new information that we have from the last episode of Daima, maybe there's something to this. So I kind of want to go through this today with you guys while you guys get to watch me fail maybe one or two of the hardest custom battles that I have come across. But that all depends on how long it takes us to get through this article. It's decently lengthy, but it's not too crazy. So, without further ado, let's get started. If you like these kind of videos or you want to see more of them, please like the video, subscribe to the page, hit that notification bell so you can be notified to all future uploads. We're trying to hit 500 by the end of the year. So please help me out. Let's make that a reality. All right, let's get started. The article starts off saying Dragon Ball Daima has raised some interesting questions between how fans see magic versus ki, and it's just really interesting. A screenshot from the last episode of Glorio when he was using his purple lighting from all of his fingers. So it goes on to say Dragon Ball Daima has continued to shake up the Dragon Ball franchise in huge ways thanks to Goku and Supreme Kai's new journey in the Demon Realm. And with the newest episode, it's starting to raise even more questions about the differences between magic and ki. Dragon Ball has been knee deep in both kinds of power since Akira Toriyama's original franchise first began 40 years ago. Magic has always been at the heart of the series, and Goku has been tapping into ki ever since he started training with Master Roshi, but the two are completely different. That is correct. The two are completely different. We've seen magic used in a lot of different ways than we've seen ki be used. So we've seen obviously the most famous one being Piccolo's clothes beam, where he can create clothes for himself and other people. He's created clothes for Gohan. I think he's done it for Goku. I can't remember. We've seen magic. I don't think that Chaozu's telekinesis is a form of magic because I think magic is just exclusive to the demon realm. I could be wrong about that, but King Kai, he knows magic. He's done the same thing, creating Goku's clothes and a array of other things revolving around magic, but he also knows how to utilize ki. And I say he's a demon because pointy ears, so probably came from the demon realm. Whis has done the same thing, basically creating clothes. Grand Supreme Kai has created objects, and I'm pretty sure Whis and King Kai have done the same. They just use magic to conjure objects like, clothes. The Grand Supreme Kai created the entire Tournament of Power stage. Whis has created the weights that Goku and Vegeta trained with on Beerus' planet. So, like, magic comes in all forms of different shapes and sizes. Magic for conjuring, and then we have Babidi, who uses like mind control magic. Deborah, who can use I can't remember the name for like Hell Flame or Gigantic Flame or something like that. Her Rudigarn does the same. I assume those are more magic rather than key based because I don't think he is just conjuring fire. I'm pretty sure it's something entirely different. But yeah, let's keep going and see what kind of questions that this arises. It goes on to say that was until things started to move into the more gray areas with Dragon Ball Daima, as Goku and Supreme Kai are now traveling through the Demon Realm for the first real time in the franchise. Fans have been learning all sorts of new information about how just important the realm actually is for the franchise. Yes, we've seen things like the different races that come from the Demon World, being like the Glens and all the others from the first, second, and third realm. Deborah obviously was from there, and King Goma, who is now the current king, is from there. We get to see characters like Pansy and Dr. Rinsu. We know that the Kaioshins, or the Glens, came from there and that they were born from a tree rather than being born sexually. They're born asexually. We do learn all kinds of stuff, especially like with the Dragon Balls that are there being the most obvious thing that we learned with the Tamagamis, Namekians coming from there. We've learned all sorts of stuff, and it really does expand the world without really retconning anything to my knowledge. So it says, and with how much we've learned about the demons themselves, it's also revealing more of the key differences between the way demons use magic versus other fighters versus how other fighters will use ki for their respective techniques. That is true. When Goku first sensed ki in the demon realm to hit that giant fish or whatever, Glorio did ask him like how he knew it was there, and he told him I sensed this ki. So it's not that people from the demon realm or creatures from the demon realm don't have ki. It's just that some characters don't know how to utilize it. Like Glorio, he didn't know anything about ki until Goku told him. Still hasn't taught him how to use it, but he knows it exists now. He still isn't sure what it is, but he knows that there is some other way to fight. And then obviously he's seen Goku, like use Super Saiyan during their last fight. So he knows about Ki, he just doesn't know about Ki, if that makes sense. And then we see, him and other creatures utilize magic. So it is what it is. We're just, learning the ins and outs of magic, which I think is really interesting. So it says, what is magic in Dragon Ball? As far as Dragon Ball Daim's episodes have revealed thus far, the Demon Realm is a lot more key to the overall foundation of the outside world. The Namekians originally came from the Demon Realm, the Kais came from the Demon Realm, and it turns out that much of the magic we've seen in the series thus far has roots within the Demon Realm as well. That is what we were talking about earlier. Most of the characters that, well, I think all the characters that we've seen use magic in the Dragon Ball franchise have been demons. I don't think demons are the only ones that can utilize magic. I just think that it's more innate to them, kind of like how the Saiyans and Earthlings and all these other characters from not the demon realm can utilize ki, and it's more normal to them to utilize ki. It's more of a natural thing to them. It's the basis of their pretty much fighting styles, and some characters just their livelihood in general. So we know that magic does come from the demon realm, that demons can use it, but we're not certain how they use it. We do know that all demons can learn magic, so I'm going to assume that there's different types of magic that all demons have the potential to learn, and that different demons, probably based on their race or based on their strengths and weaknesses, would have an affinity for certain types of magic. But let's continue and see what the article has to say. It says it was previously teased that demons don't really recognize ki as a concept, as Deborah was already thrown off about it in Dragon Ball Z, and it's been explained that it's because they rely on magic instead. Magic is entirely different in that it seems that rather than being an inherent energy that anyone can build up, it's something that's limited to a single kind of technique for a respective demon. While some creatures can use multiple magical abilities, the idea given in Dragon Ball Daima is that there's at least a single unique magic technique for each demon. This is what I was just saying, though, I was speculating about, which is actually pretty cool that that answer just pretty much, that question pretty much got answered. That demons have specific magic that they have an affinity towards, or their proficiency is different based on the kind of magic that they know, or the kind of magic they're trying to learn, or kind of magic they're trying to perform. So it's kind of cool to know that certain races can use certain types of magic or different types of magic. So I find it interesting. Anyway, it says, but as expected, this seems to clash with what we've seen from demonic entities in the franchise previously, as well as the likes of Majin Buu turning opponents into candy, but then also having pliability with his body. I think that might be different because of Majin Buu's physical properties. I'm not sure if that's really magic that you can really say he's using. Being able to regenerate and all this. I don't think it's magic necessarily. It might be. I just don't think it is. I think that's just innately like how his body works. Probably like it probably is magic, and it's something that his body can adjust to and use. And my headcanon for Majin Buu being able to use multiple types of magics, I'm certain that magic as a whole takes a toll on your body to some degree and can definitely exhaust you easily over time, especially as we've seen with Pansy, where she was using her telekinesis on the rock. It seemed to really be taking a toll on her physically, and she was exhausted after lifting that one rock. So it's a thing where magic does exhaust you, and it takes some level of physicality to really get to use properly. So with Majin Buu's body being extremely pliable, basically being having the properties of gum, but being able to regenerate and put himself back together and being able to have holes put in him without it really damaging him. I want to assume that any kind of exhaustion or damage that magic would normally do to a being would not affect Majin Buu in that way because his body doesn't feel, normal types of damage and pain. Meaning that Majin Buu would, in a sense, be considered the ultimate evil because he would be able to use most of, or maybe even possibly has the potential to learn all types of magic from the demon realm without being exhausted at all. So, continuing with the article, it says it's also strange to see with the Namekians because while their magic seems to be focused on the Dragon Balls themselves, Piccolo has turned out completely different. We've seen Namekians with the ability to draw out latent power, and we've seen the kind of control um, they have over the Dragon Balls with Neva, but Piccolo doesn't have any magic of his own. His abilities seem to be key based, and it takes time to charge them up. And he has energy like Blast. So with Piccolo, he does have magic. It's the clothes beam that he's done with creating clothes. I think his innate magic ability is conjuring, but because he was created or born rather in the world of Dragon Ball, he does less magic than he does ki because everyone on the planet, again, ki is a thing that exists for the demons, but just not utilized that much or just not known about because they hinge on magic so much. So for Piccolo, I would say that it's probably a case of him utilizing a different ability set. So he was born on Earth and he grew up around people on Earth. So everybody knowing how to use ki, he naturally picked that up rather than picking up magic. All he remembers is probably just a little bit of knowledge passed probably from his father, Demon King Piccolo, and like genetic memories, I suppose, where he would remember his father knowing magic, or maybe he picked it up on his own, or something like that. But it's very limited. He doesn't have a lot of magical capabilities, and because of that, he does more key-based attacks than he does magic. But it's possible that using key attacks, especially for people that hinge on magic that are from the demon realm, key is probably more exhausting to them, probably because it's not something that they're used to or something that their body's not acclimated to. However, Piccolo has gone and gotten past that, where most of his moves, would exhaust him. Now, instead of most of his moves exhausting him, he only has like the special beam cannon that exhausts him, or he's gotten a lot better at managing his ki than he has with magic. As far as he knows, his magic is just conjuring, and he uses it for clothes because it's not that demanding. Because clothes don't take that much effort to make, probably. Not like the Grand Supreme Kai creating an entire arena. That's just my headcanon for Piccolo, at least. All right, moving on. The next portion has a really cool spread of Piccolo using special beam cannon from Dragon Ball Super Superheroes, and it says, "How is magic different from Ki?" And it reads, "When looking at what we've seen from the demons in Dragon Ball Daima and the Dragon Ball franchise thus far, the main differences between the two kinds of power systems are the limits of it." Which, if you've been listening to this rant at all, you would realize, yeah, this is something that that God of Heroics has been saying, which is true. I mean, I haven't said it directly, but from the talks that from the headcanon that I've been giving off as I've been reading these paragraphs, that does seem to be the case. Magic and Ki have two different forms of limitations. So, continuing, it says, while some magic seems to act like Ki, such as Gloria's use of lightning-like techniques in Dragon Ball Daima Episode 6, it's clearly limited in its scope compared to Ki, as we've seen with Goku and other fighters many times. They are allowed to change their respective technique and forms through training. There is distinct levels to their amount of ki. So yes, they do have distinct levels to their ki, and they can increase their ki, or rather increase the capabilities of their ki by training, and they can change the properties of it. For example, Master Roshi, who created the Kamehameha that we see in like pretty much every fight that Goku is in. But also, Master Roshi has the lightning surprise attack, which is it is key. It's key because Master Roshi doesn't know magic, but it has this electric property that shocks and stuns his opponents. He also knows the Mafuba, which is a sealing technique. It's still ki, and he's utilizing his own ki for these techniques, but they all have different properties. And by training, he can change the properties of those individual moves. So, continuing, it says it's something that can be changed and altered. It can be strengthened or weakened. While magic might work in the same way, it seems limited in a base level of whatever a particular demon can accomplish. It's yet another way each of the demons are classified beyond the scope of their world. So now that gives me an interesting idea. So considering that it's saying that magic seems to have specific properties and it can be used a certain way and you can't really alter or change its form, you can probably just change how well it works, probably, like how effective or how strong it is. Like, I'm pretty sure Glorio's lightning, when he first used it, wasn't as strong as it was when he used it in his fight with Goku. Just the same, Pansy's little telekinesis that she used probably, very likely, isn't going to be as weak as it is as it is currently later on in the series, or even when she's older. It's probably going to be far stronger, where it's more of a binding technique. But with that being the case, that might be something that the demons are classified on. We know that there were three demon worlds, and within each demon world, it's a little bit different. The first demon world, who's to say what it's like, it might be a little bit more lavish, probably has more powerful demons in it. While the third demon world has these little scrubs that are getting beat up, and in fact, it might be why the elite guards that King Caden had weren't really that powerful, because they're on the weaker end of the demon's hierarchy. So, while again, we may be able to see the stronger demons, we're not entirely certain how strong they can get. And I'm going to assume that the Tamagamis are also, they're also stronger the higher you go. So, the third demon world, Tamagami is probably not going to be as strong as the second world, and the second world's Tamagami is not going to be as strong as the first world. We just have to know what kind of magic they're capable of, and then also fight at a higher level to really get one over on. Carrying on, it says, we've seen how some demons are seen as better than the others just because of the world that they were born in, and it seems to be reflected in the kind of magic that they can use as well. That's crazy. I was just theorizing. It says a demon with a stronger magic ability is just going to be naturally stronger and can't overcome their own limits, like how Goku and the others are able to. In fact, I have a small theory about this now that it's being said. I think they can overcome these limits by training how strong their magic can be, because again, I'm pretty sure their magic probably doesn't cap at a certain power level as long as that character can get stronger. Like if Glorio can raise his power from, let's just lowball, just throw a random number. Let's just say his power level is 100,000. Let just for shits and giggles, say it's 100,000. If he were to train, whether he were to train in how to use ki, or even just train his martial arts powers or train his magic, I'm pretty sure he would be able to get the abilities or the strength of his magic even higher, probably to like the 200,000s or 300,000s, and that's just based off of training and getting that skill to be at a higher level. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like it's shown right now that there's limitations and that there's you can only get so high, but I feel like that's probably just like a lie that's been carried on by the Demon King themselves, or mostly like the higher class people. The high society people always being like, "Oh, we rich people are better than you because we were born rich," or "We powerful people are born better than you because we were born powerful." It's like the Saiyans all over again, like how Vegeta was telling Goku in like the early Saiyan saga, like, "Oh, I'm a born elite, so I'm naturally going to be more powerful than you." But Goku saying, "If you train hard enough, you can catch up and even surpass an elite." I feel like it's going to be the same kind of thing here, but with the demons. So, carrying on, where did I leave off? Says that seems to be that seems to so far be the key distinction between how magic and ki work so far. Magic spells are limited to the character that learns them, but demons like Neva also throw this into question as well. He seems to have grown his magic to a legendary level. I mean, he's old as shit, so obviously he's just got to train that magic until it's like as strong as it can be. It says, but that might be a result of his ridiculously long lifespan instead. See, there we go. Self fulfilling prophecy. So that's pretty much the end of the article. There's like a whole nother paragraph, but it's basically just the conclusion to everything we just read. Um, at the end of the day, Ki and Magic are both different. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Magic grow, especially with Goku being here, the master of limit breaking, and he's probably going to end up teaching that sort of limit breaking phenomenon or limit breaking philosophy to some of the people in the demon world. And by the end of this adventure, I want to believe that not only will the evil demons that be taken care of, King Goma and whoever else is within his corner are probably higher than him secretly, but I'm pretty sure that when things start getting better, the people left in the demon world that want to make a change and want to make things better for everybody will be on the same wavelength as Goku as far as breaking the mold and being a better you. Anyway, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Please like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of all future uploads. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.